Welcome students. In the second and the last part of chapter Structural Organization in Animals, in the previous videos we have discussed about the introductory part of animal tissues and its basic types. Now in this part we will discuss about epithelial tissues, its types, connective tissue and its types, muscular tissues, and then neural tissues or the nervous tissues. So let's begin with our today's topic. Epithelial tissues. The cells in epithelial tissues are very closely packed together and joined with very less space between them. So the cells of epithelial tissues are very close and tightly packed with each other in such a way that there is very less intercellular spaces are present between them, and most of the time the intercellular spaces are absent between them. Some common structure which are present in epithelial membranes are intercellular junctions, basement membrane, and structures on the free surface of cells like microvilli, cilia, flagella, etc. One of the most important characteristic feature of epithelial tissue is the presence of intercellular junctions, which helps in the transportation of materials between the two adjacent cells. And the cells of epithelial tissues are always resting upon a basement membrane. All the cells in epithelial tissues are held together with a little intercellular materials, which helps these cells to be intact with each other. Some specialized junctions provide both structural and functional links between the individual cells. Epithelial tissues can be classified into two categories on the basis of the number of layers of the tissues or the cells. These are simple epithelial tissue and the compound epithelial tissues. Now, what is the difference between simple and compound epithelial tissues? Simple epithelial tissue consists of the single layer of cells, while compound epithelial tissues consist of more than one layer of cells. In simple epithelial tissues, all the cells resting upon a basement membrane, while in compound epithelial tissue, only the cells of the deepest layer are in direct contact of the basement membrane. However, the basement membrane is absent in transitional epithelial tissues. In simple epithelial tissues, it covers the moist surfaces where there is a little wear and tear takes place. So usually simple epithelial tissues are present on the as a covering around the organs or the systems where there is a little wear and tear takes place. While in compound epithelial tissues covers the surface where constant wear and tear takes place. Simple epithelial tissues are basically secretory, absorptive, and protective in functions, while compound epithelial tissues are mainly protective in functions. So these are the basic difference between simple and compound epithelial tissues. Now, let us discuss in detail about the simple epithelial tissues and its types. Simple epithelium is composed of a single layer of cells, as we have already discussed in the previous slide, and every cell resting upon on the basement membrane. On the basis of the structural modification, simple epithelial tissues are divided into three types. So on the basis of the modification, structural modification, epithelial tissue can be of three types. That is squamous, simple squamous epithelial tissues, simple cuboidal epithelial tissues, and simple columnar epithelial tissues. Let us discuss one by one. Simple squamous epithelial tissues. The squamous epithelium is made up of flattened cells with irregular boundaries. As you can see in the diagrams, cells are flattened, closely packed or tightly packed with each other. There is no intercellular space is present between the cells, and cells are irregular in shape. Then the squamous epithelial tissues are present in the walls of blood vessels and air sacs of lungs, that is alveoli, and they form a diffusion boundary. So the cells of squamous epithelial tissues form the diffusion boundaries around the cells, where they help in the exchange of material. Second is the simple cuboidal epithelial tissue. Why they are called as the simple cuboidal? epithelial tissue, number one, they are arranged in single layer, therefore they are a simple epithelium. The shape of the cells are approximately cuboidal, hence the layer is called as the tissue is called as the simple cuboidal epithelial tissue. Okay, they are commonly found in ducts of glands and a tubular part of nephron and in the kidneys, and its main function are secretion are and absorption. So basic functions of these tissues are secretion of the substances or materials and absorption of the substances. Then the epithelium of a proximal convoluted tubule, it is present in the nephron in the kidney. It is having a microvilli or some finger-like projection on its surface. Specialized cuboidal epithelial cells are capable of producing gametes, are found in gonads. These are called germinal epithelial tissues. This type of tissues are found in the gonads, that is ovary, and in testes, which forms ova and sperms, that is male and female gametes. Simple columnar epithelial tissue. The cells of this tissue are columnar in size. It means their width is less while their height is more. So they look like a column. Therefore, these tissues are called as the simple columnar epithelial tissues. The cells are arranged in a single layer, okay, in which nucleus is located at the basal part. It may be possible that some of the at some place in the body, these cells of simple columnar epithelial tissue may have some microvilli or finger-like projections. These tissues are found in the lining of the stomach and intestine, and they help in the secretion and absorption of material. Basically, it is the general function of all kinds of epithelial tissue, like protection, secretion of the substances, absorption of the material, help in the transportation of material. So these are the general functions of all kinds of epithelial tissue. But they may be modified according to the organ and the function which are performed by that organ in the body. So we are talking about the simple columnar epithelial tissue. Their function is to move particles or mucus in a specific direction over the epithelium. Then some of the columnar or cuboidal cells get specialized for secretion and are called a glandular epithelial tissue. So some of the columnar epithelial tissues or cells, they modified as a gland. Some cells are modified as a gland which help in the secretion of the substances like hormones or enzymes. Therefore, they are called as the glandular epithelial tissues. These glands may be of two types, mainly of two types, that is unicellular glands and the multicellular gland. The unicellular gland consisting of isolated glandular cells like goblet cells which are present in the alimentary canal, and the salivary glands which where the cells are found in cluster or bunches of cells. The next is compound epithelial tissue. The compound epithelium is made up of more than one layer, that is the multi-layer cells. It has a limited role in secretion and absorption. They provide protection against the chemical and mechanical stress. It is also known as striated epithelial tissues. They cover the dry surface of the skin, the moist surface of buccal cavity, pharynx, inner lining of ducts of salivary glands, and of pancreatic ducts. On the basis of their structure and functions, there are different types of compound epithelial tissues are present in the body, like stratified squamous keratinized epithelial tissues, where keratin is a kind of protein is present. Remaining property like stratified means cells are arranged in the layers. Squamous, they are having a moist surface and they are kind of epithelial tissue. So the kind of striated squamous epithelial tissue in which keratin is present is called as the stratified um, squamous keratinized epithelial tissue, and the kind of compound epithelial tissue in which keratin protein is absent. This kind of tissues are called as the stratified squamous non-keratinized epithelial tissue. While in compound epithelial tissue, when cells are arranged in many layers, but and the cells are columnar in shape, so it is called as the stratified columnar epithelial tissue. Now, moving on to the second type of tissue is the connective tissue. First of all, what is connective tissue? The type of tissue which helps to connect two or more than two parts or organs of the body directly or indirectly are called as the connective tissue. So this tissue makes the connection between the two different parts of the body. For example, blood. The blood is a liquid connective tissue which help in the transportation of material from one part of the body to another part of the body. Hence, it connect different parts of the body indirectly. It is an exception of the kinds of tissue that we are thinking about, because they are they are not having any particular shape or size. They are liquid in nature, but as it helps to connect different parts of the body, therefore it is considered as the liquid connective tissue. Now, read about this. The connective tissue are most abundant and widely distributed in the body of complex animals. The connective tissue support and link other tissues or organs of the body. The cells of the connective tissue secretes fibers of structural protein called as the collagen or elastin fiber. So these are the type of protein fiber, collagen and elastin. So collagen fibers and elastin fiber. These are the kinds of fibrous proteins which are the structural protein. Blood is an exception in which no structural fiber is secreted. So blood, as we have already discussed, it is an exception of the connective tissue because it is liquid in nature. So it itself not secrete any particular kind of structural fiber from itself. The structural fiber provide strength, elasticity, and flexibility to the tissue. The cells of the connective tissue also secrete polysaccharides. Polysaccharides is a kind of carbohydrate, complex carbohydrates. Then these polysaccharides accumulate between the cells and fibers and act as a matrix or ground substances. So these polysaccharides, like carbohydrates, complex carbohydrates, they get accumulated between the cells and fiber and form the ground substance of the connective tissues. Now, on the basis of their nature, this connective tissue can be classified again into three types: loose connective tissue, dense connective tissue, and specialized connective tissue. Now, what are loose connective tissues? The cells and fibers are loosely arranged in a semi-fluid matrix in a loose connective tissue. So in loose connective tissue, the fibers which are present, they are loosely attached, loosely arranged. So there are some gaps are present, empty spaces are present between them. Therefore, they provide some little bit of flexibility kind of thing, we can say, to the part where they are present. Now they are of different types, like areolar connective tissue and adipose connective tissue. Let us discuss one by one. What are areolar connective tissue? It is an example of loose connective tissue. It is present beneath the skin. It is present below the skin. It usually makes the support framework for epithelium. So it provides support to the epithelial tissue of the skin. It contains fibroblast, macrophages, and mast cell. These are the three characteristic types of cells which are present in the areolar connective tissue. Remember it: fibroblast, macrophages, and mast cells. Then next kind of loose connective tissue is adipose tissue. Is another example of loose connective tissue. That is, adipose tissue is usually located beneath the skin. Again, it is also present below the skin, beneath the skin, but its main function is to store reserve food material in the form of fat. So this contain a particular type of cells, that is adipocyte cells, which help in the storage of fat in the body. Here is the diagram of the loose connective tissue, that is areolar connective tissue and adipose tissue. In the areolar connective tissue, you can easily see that the collagen fibers, they are present far from each other. They are loosely attached. They are not compactly packed with each other. Three types of cells, that is macrophages, fibroblast, and mast cells are present in the areolar connective tissues. This type of tissue provide basic framework and flexibility to the body part where they are present. And then second is the adipose tissue. Here you can see the fat storage area. These are the adipocytes which helps in the storage of fat molecule in the body. The next kind of connective tissue is the dense connective tissue. The cells and fibers are compactly packed in dense connective tissue. The orientation of fibers can be regular or irregular. So in this type of connective tissue, the fiber which are arranged, they are compactly packed with each other, they are tightly packed. Okay, their orientation may be regular or irregular. So on the basis of their orientation, how they are arranged, that fibers, how they are arranged, it may be possible they are arranged in a regular manner, means they may be arranged side by side or end to end, or they may be arranged in some irregular manner. So there are of two types, that regular and irregular. These are the five types of two dense connective tissue that we will discuss. On the basis of the dense connective tissue, it is called as dense regular or dense irregular connective tissue. In dense regular connective tissue, the collagen fibers are present in rows between many parallel bundles of fibers. This type of tissue are present in tendons and ligaments. So tendons and ligaments having dense regular connective tissue where collagen fibers are present in rows and in many parallel bundles of fibers. Tendon attach muscles to the bones while ligaments attach one bone to another bone. So the function of tendon is to attach muscles and bone. They help in the movement of bones, and they help in the locomotion, while ligaments attach two bones with each other. So they also helps in the movement and locomotion. In dense irregular tissues, fibroblasts and fibers are oriented in irregular pattern. Their arrangement is not in a stack-like manner. They are arranged in an irregular manner. So dense irregular tissues are present in skin. Here you can see the diagram of the two, that is regular and irregular connective tissue. Dense connective tissue types in these are, then regular connective tissue, a dense regular connective tissue consists of parallel bundles of collagen fibers. They are found in tendon and ligament, where they bind organs together. Irregular dense connective tissue, the bundles runs in different directions. They are found in inner portion of the skin. In the diagram you can see the cells are arranged in regular manner. The fibers are arranged in regular manner in a dense regular connective tissue, and while they are arranged in an irregular and systematic manner in the irregular dense connective tissue. The next one is specialized connective tissue. Now there are two specialized connective tissue, that is bones and cartilage. In cartilage, the matrix of cartilage is solid and pliable and resist compression. They are a little bit soft in comparison to the bones. The cells of cartilage are called chondrocytes. The cells of cartilage are called chondrocyte because they contain a kind of protein which is called as the chondrin. So due to the presence of chondrin, these cells are called as the chondrocyte cells. Chondrocytes are enclosed in small cavities within the matrix. Most of the cartilage in invertebrate embryo, vertebrate embryo are replaced by bones in adulthood. So in generally, most of the cartilaginous tissue which are present in the early stages of life, they are replaced by the um, bones in adult condition. But in adult condition also, cartilage are present in various parts of the body, like in nostrils, in external pinna, at the joints of the bones. Okay. Then second type of specialized connective tissue, that is bones. The matrix of bone is hard and non-pliable. It means their shape cannot be changed. They are hard because there is a very less intercellular spaces are present, and the matrix which is present in it is rich in calcium salts and collagen fibers, which are very tightly packed with each other. This hard and impliable, non-pliable structure provide rigidity and strength to the bone, as a result of which they provide a basic framework to the body and form the skeleton system in most of the chordate animals. The bone cells are called osteocytes. The cells of the bones are called as the osteocytes because the protein which is present in these cells is the ossin. So ossin is the protein which is present in the bone cells, and the scientific name of bone cells is osteocytes. Okay, osteocytes are present in species called lacunae. So in long bones we can easily observe, as you can see in the diagram, lacunae and sinuses are present in which osteocytes are found. The bone marrow is in some bones is the site of production of blood cell. So in long bones usually hemocytoplastic cells are present, or the cells of bone marrow, we can say in easy language, that they form the blood cells, that is RBC, WBC. Now, the next kind of connective tissue is blood. So blood is a liquid connective tissue. It is different from the remaining kinds of connective tissue, as it do not have any particular shape and size, but it flow from one part of the body to another part of the body and connect all the parts of the body directly or indirectly. Um, Blood contains plasma, blood corpuscles of the cells, and the platelets. Okay, in blood corpuscles, there are two kinds of blood corpuscles, so the cells are present, that is red blood cells or red blood corpuscles, and white blood corpuscles or white blood cells. RBCs are also called as the erythrocytes, that is the scientific name. WBCs are called as the leukocytes, and the platelets are the thrombocytes, which release blood clotting protein, or we can say that they help in the process of blood clotting and prevent the excessive loss of blood from the body. Then white blood cells are called as the leukocytes. There are different kinds of white blood cells are found in the uh, blood or in the body, that is neutrophils, eosinophils, basophils, and lymphocytes and monocytes. These are the kinds of WBCs. On the basis of the nature of the cytoplasm, these WBCs can be classified into two categories: granulocytes and granulocytes. Granulocytes, in which cytoplasm appear granular, as you can see in the diagrams, neutrophils, eosinophils, and in basophils, cytoplasm is having some granule-like structure. So these are the granulocytes, while in lymphocytes and monocytes, cytoplasm do not contain any kind of granular structure, hence they are called as the agranulocytes. The basic function of all these types of cells, that is the WBCs, is the protection of the body from the foreign particles or different kinds of antigens which enter in the body, while the basic function of RBCs is the transportation of respiratory gases, that is oxygen and carbon dioxide. And function of platelets we have already discussed, that is it helps in the process of blood clotting. Now, the muscular tissue. A muscle is made up of many long cylindrical fibers which are arranged in parallel rays. The muscle fibers are composed of very fine fibrils called as the myofibrils. The muscle fibers can contract and relax in a coordinated fashion or in a coordinated manner. Thus, they help a very important role or crucial role in the process of movement and locomotion. The muscular tissues basically they are form of the fibers, muscle fibers, or the protein fibers, and which help in the process of contraction and relaxation of the muscles, and thus they help in the process of movement and locomotion, not only in the internal part but also of the whole body. There are different kinds of muscular tissues are found, that is skeletal muscles, smooth muscle fibers, and cardiac muscles. Let us discuss one by one. First of all, the skeletal muscles. The skeletal muscles is closely attached to the skeletal bones. Because they are attached to the bones, therefore they are called as the skeletal muscles. In skeletal muscles, fibers are bundled together in a parallel fashion. So as you can see in the diagrams, muscle fibers are arranged in a parallel arrangement or parallel sequence. Several bundles of muscle fibers are covered by a sheath of tough connective tissue. Striations are present in skeletal muscles. So there are some light and dark colors of bands are present in this skeletal muscles. Therefore, it is also called as the striated muscles. And the movement of this kind of muscles are in the direct control of our will. Hence, they are also called as the voluntary muscles. Second is the smooth muscle fibers. Because there is no striation or light and dark color bands are present in this kinds of muscles. Therefore, they are called as the unstriated or smooth muscle fibers. The smooth muscle fibers are spindle shaped. They are pointed towards the. They are tapering toward the end and brought from the center, which is having a single nucleus. Their function is not in the direct control of our will, hence they are called as the involuntary muscles. Various smooth muscle fibers are held together by cell junctions. They are bundled together in a sheath of connective tissue. Smooth muscles are present in those organs which are not under our conscious control or will. So this type of muscle are found actually in the internal organ whose movement or functioning is not in the direct control of our will. Hence, they are called as the um, involuntary muscles. As they are not having any striation, they are called as the non-striated, unstriated muscles. Smooth muscles can carry on their activities for a longer duration as compared to the skeletal muscles because they do not fatigue easily, so they can work for a longer time. Last type of muscle fiber is the cardiac muscle. As we all know about it, this type of tissues are found only in the heart, and the basic characteristic feature of this kind of muscle is the rhythmic contraction and relaxation throughout the life, as a result of which they help in the contraction and relaxation of the heart and help in the transportation of blood throughout the body. The cells of the cardiac muscles are multinucleated and have striation. The muscle fibers are held together by cell junctions. Communication junction are called as the intercalated disc. As you can see easily in the diagram, the dash-like structures. These are called as the intercalated discs are present at some fusion points. This communication junction allow the cells to contract as a single unit. Due to this, when one cell receives a signal to contract, its neighbor cells also stimulate to contract. Cardiac muscles keep on contracting and relaxing continuously throughout the life. So when they receive any muscle, any single muscle, when it receive message for the contraction, so it is travel to all the muscles of the cardiac tissue or the heart, because all of them are attached or connected with each other with the help of intercalated disc. As a result of which they bring about a rhythmic relaxation and contraction of the heart. Now the last type of tissue, that is neural tissue or the nervous tissue. Neural tissue is made up of neurons. Neurons are excitable cells. The neuroglial cells protect and support the neuron. Neuroglia make up more than half of the volume of the neural tissue in the human body. तो neuroglial cells जो हैं they form the basic portion, main part of the nervous system of our body. When a neuron is stimulated, an electrical disturbance is generated. This electrical impulse disturbance is called as the electrical impulse, which is travel along the length of the nerve fiber. And when a disturbance arrives at a neuron ending, it triggers the events which may causes stimulation of inhibition of adjacent neuron and other cells. Thus, neural signals are transmitted to different parts of the body. How they work, how this neural tissue work. So they are actually sensitive towards the different kinds of stimuli. Now, what is stimuli? Any change in the external environment which is responsible to produce any response in the body is called as the stimuli. So when our sense organ like skin, nose, ear, okay, eyes, so they are the sense organ. So when they receive any kind of sense, they receive any kind of stimuli, so they receive the information of the external stimuli, and then this sense organ are attached to the sensory neuron. This sensory neuron carry messages in the form of electrical impulses towards the central nervous system. Now central nervous system is the brain or spinal cord. So there are two parts of central nervous system, that is brain and spinal cord. So sensory neuron carry messages from sense organ to the central nervous system, where messages are processed, and then brain or spinal cord send back messages what response our body need to take according to the type of the stimuli, so through the with the help of motor neuron. So motor neuron is the second type of neuron which help in the transportation of messages from brain or spinal cord toward the organs of the body. And then there is a third kind of neuron, that is called as the communicating or intermediate mediate neuron, which help to connect sensory neuron and motor neuron. In this way they brings about any action with reference to the stimuli received by the sense organ. In a neuron, if we can in the diagram you can see a multipolar neuron. Here basic in a neuron there are two part. First is a broad cell body, that is called as the cyton. Cyton ends up in dendron, and dendron having various fiber like or hair like outgrowth, which is called as the dendrites. Then the second end is the long fibrous part, which is called as the axon fiber. This axon fiber may be covered by myelin sheath, a kind of protein sheath which helps it to protect the neuron. And this sheath is having some uh, points or junctions where they are discontinued. So this myelin sheath is not a continuous covering on the neuron or the axon fiber. There are some discontinuous structure which are called as the nodes of Ranvier. The last part of this axon fiber are called as the nerve ending or the axon ending, from where the dendron of next neuron is attached, to which the next part of the next neuron is attached with the help of its dendron. So the junction point between the two neuron is called as the synapse. So in this way, one neuron is connected to the another neuron, and they help in the transportation of impulses or the messages from one part of the body to another part of the body. That's it, student. So these are the types of nervous tissue. These are the types of tissues. Now our chapter is finished. If you are having any doubt, you can ask me anytime. Thanks for watching.